Hi, I know that I know a lot of you are busy getting texts and checking your Snapchats and everything, and I know that we're living in a time where time is so precious. So let's get right into it. Okay, here we go. Have you ever gone through life? It's a rhetorical question. I already know the answer for many of you, but unless you're a very, very special, unique, perfect individual, in which case, please give me your number. I'd love to talk to you. Now, here we go. So, have you ever gone through life and maybe you're gonna meet somebody, you're nervous, maybe you're feeling like, or maybe you're feeling arrogant, or maybe you're feeling not good enough, right? These are two extremes of our human existence, right? And what's so funny is that sometimes we do things to maybe feel better than others, right? And let's call that one up. I was once in Miami, in South Beach, Miami, and I was talking to this reporter. He was like a news anchor or whatever. And we're talking about Miami, and this is one of the best conversations that I could tell you. It came to my mind, and we were talking, and he goes, yeah, here in Miami, everybody wants to one up everybody. And I was like, and this is one of the first times I had heard. I knew what he meant, but I never heard the term. So one up is like, so let's just say your friend gets a Mustang, but you want to feel better, so then you get a Porsche. Right, a Porsche 911 Carrera or something like that, and now because you got that Carrera, you feel better than him. Okay, this is what is known as one-upping somebody. Okay, now I know many of you watching, because you're so cool and everything, and you're very busy. You already know this. Okay, I know, but the thing is that I'm going somewhere with this. Okay, so stay tuned. Now check this out. So he mentioned that everywhere in Miami, some people in Miami are one-upping each other. It's one of the common ways we've heard this growing up is keeping up with the Joneses. You have to wonder who the Joneses are, right? Like, who was this family? Were they very popular? Were they buying a lot of things? Were they affluent? I don't know. But the Joneses were clearly very, very popular back then. Anyway, so it's this consistent thing of like, who's better than who? Okay, so that I wanted to reveal some stuff that I studied over the last 2 years. Okay, so whenever you feel better than anyone, lean in close because it's going to blow your mind. Whenever you feel better than anyone else, you're actually in your trauma. You're actually enmeshed in deep childhood trauma. I know, it's crazy, right? Like, who wants to, like, it's way cooler to drive a 911 Carrera and just feel badass. I get it. Okay, but here's where it actually may not be that badass. Because say you get the 911 Carrera, you bust your ass, you spent years going to school, years building an enterprise to get the Carrera, and then, like, I remember one day I was telling my friend the other day, I saw these women walk by, great looking women. They walked by some guys in a Lamborghini, and the guys were posted up with the doors open and everything, and they were posted, and they were standing outside a nightclub, and they were like, look at us, and they just these ladies walked right by them. I mean, like, they could have been like, I think if a boy was selling lollipops, that boy would have gotten more attention than these guys with the Lamborghini. Now, the Lamborghini's a beautiful car. We all know that. I mean, many of us know that. It's just that they were completely ignored, right? And then you could tell by the way this positioning was, it was safe to say that one could say, well, these gentlemen were, in a way, positioning themselves to be one up above others, right? At a higher level of status. And so then what I wanted to bring to the table is, you see how like that wasn't validated in that respect. And so what a lot of times what happens when you reach a certain level of success or affluence or status, and you don't have it validated by someone, a lot of times that status feels like it's almost painful or alienated, because now it's not being validated, but you work so hard to get there. It's like, what? How can I work so hard to get somewhere and it's not even validated with like a reward, or I'm not getting the fulfillment I'm after? Well, a lot of times when it's for the reason of one-upping anyone, you are at risk to have your trauma be caught up and show you that life is not going to fulfill you that way. And the reason I'm making this video is because again, who doesn't like a nice car? Who doesn't like a great body? Who doesn't like having more influence or affluence or whatever these things that we're marketed to have? I'm only saying that in my research that this one-upness comes from a trauma that we experience as children. Now, and I'm going to go ahead and plead guilty to this because when I looked at my life, I saw my relationship was kind of falling apart and stuff. I felt that I was seeking too much of this external validation and not enough internal validation. That may explain to you why I wear these meditation beads, because it's about this consistent search inwardly and connection to the self versus an external validation of please make me this, please validate this, where I'm searching less for an external validation and more internal connection, internal self-validation to help me get away from these traumas. Now, this concept as taught by Neil Strauss is called adaptive adolescent, where the adaptive adolescent is a person that consistently wants to be one up, where they consistently need to not need anyone. They have walls. I don't need anyone. They can do it themselves. You know, they can do it themselves. They're always looking for the next big thing, the next big high, the next big something, the next big sensation. And that was me, right? And so those are the kind of things that an adaptive adolescent goes. At the same time, it's not black and white, okay? It's not black and white. You can also be one down, which is the one we started also, is like, so you're not feeling good enough, okay? And that's also being caught in your trauma. And that a lot of time comes from being neglected as a child, et cetera, feeling like you didn't have friends, feeling these things. Now as an adult, you feel like you're not good enough, you're low self-esteem and stuff like this, like that. These are things that also you're in your trauma. So as you walk through your day, like right now, I'm pretty free of my trauma right now. Like I can feel it and the reason I'm coming through and saying this to you is because this is how I would act when I'm sort of free of my trauma. I'm not really feeling down, and I'm not really feeling better than anyone. I'm just like right here with you, right? Right here, the viewer. I'm like right here with you, and so we're very level. There's a lot of equality in my overall presentation of self. Okay, so that means I'm free from my trauma. Now these are some mind-bending things. So Strauss taught that in his book The Truth. He goes into how the best concept is to become what's known as a functional adult. So if the person that doesn't feel good enough is consistently feeling like they're very needy, and the adaptive adolescent is feeling like they don't need anyone, he says, well, a functional adult is someone that creates for themselves, supplies for their own needs, and knows to express needs and wants. They have a balance between that. They're flexible in that realm. They're flexible in control, and they're flexible in being open, right? They have more flexibility on these grounds. So that sounds more logical, right? So this functional adult would be a more healthy individual to go. It doesn't, now, will someone ever be 100% free of their trauma? I'm not sure. That's the goal, right? To consistently be operating from a place where if you were born, when you were born, you didn't have any agendas, you didn't have any feelings. You were just this kid crying and you wanted milk, right? And so, but right after that, when you were asleep and you woke up, there were moments there where you probably don't have any memories because you were just experiencing life. You were very open to life. And one of the keys to getting away from your trauma and getting out of it is to create self-regulating behaviors that are not fulfilling anyone, not feeding and cycling that trauma in your life, okay? So you're not exposing yourself to people that are gonna exacerbate that low self-esteem and make you feel like you're nobody onto yourself. And you're also not feeding that ego to seek validation through things that are not gonna really fulfill you, that are just sort of like it's almost like these people here are sort of pushing these people down to feel better about themselves, but they themselves are not happy. So you have two extremes that neither's happy. This person's pretending to be happy, but they're not, and this person's not happy, but they're. So it's a very ugly cycle in the human psychology. And I wanted to bring that to the table, just come around here, would be transparent, let you have it, because I think it would bring a lot of value to you. And so again, the key is to escape the trauma, bring yourself to the present moment, get away from the core of shame, let your heart out, connect with purpose, connect with your inner purpose, open up, connect with people, and achieve your dreams. This is Jacob Adams. If this video has been of any help to you, if you have a question, my number is 512-994-7328. If you have a question on what I talked about, it's pretty advanced stuff. So if you have a question on it, just let me know. But I gave you some concepts that I think if you open up, the book by Neil Strauss is called The Truth, an uncomfortable book about relationships. It's this one right here. So you can also look at the book. And yeah, I think with that information, and I think that'll open up a lot of doors for you. You have Google, look into these rabbit holes, and I think you'll like what you find if you put the work in. This is Jacob Adams, a little freer of my trauma every day. Peace out.